Hey everyone, this is Manny Tejeda, Sales and Sports Specialist from PhotoCare. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be talking about Nanlite today. So today, let's do some ground rules. The format, we will be having a Q&A portal and a chat portal. The chat portal is if you want to send anything directly to me, to ask to Barry, or just, everyone can talk to each other. Paul Fishkin, Regional Business Manager for Mac Group, will also be in the Q&A. He will be answering questions. Send all real questions that are pertinent to the Q&A portal. We will answer them. If we hit answer live, we'll have Barry answer them in a bit.
Sure.
All right. So Barry Garcia. He's worked in various capacities within the television industry for 25 years. He has owned his own production company and won awards for his work as a camera operator. He has worked for companies such as the Travel Channel, MTV, BET, and Nickelodeon. Yeah. So it looks like he knows what he's doing. Right?
Sometimes.
Barry will be going over Nanlite's new LED products for home solutions.
Yes.
All right. So there you go, everyone. Let's welcome Barry, and you're up.
Hi, folks. So we're going to start just basically talking a little bit. As Manny said, my name is Barry Garcia. I am the technical sales manager for Nanlite. And yes, I have been doing television for a lot of years. Kind of a little bit of both. I've moved more into the photography side of stuff. So I kind of have a nice range of talking about lighting for not just the TV side or video side, but also for the photography side. So to kind of jump right into what we're talking about today, we're going to do basically home lighting solutions for a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with right now. I've talked with many people about this, and I've done quite a few Zoom webinars about how we can make ourselves look better when we're on these type of conversations. Obviously, I'm lit nicely with the Nanlites that I have currently, but how do you are able to create something that looks good if you're on that Zoom call, if you're teaching somebody, or hey, you just want to look nice for that Zoom cocktail mixer at night. Those are all things that I think we try to accomplish, and lighting and Nanlite can help with that. So to kind of get started today, we're going to talk a little bit about a single light solution as well as multi-light solutions. So let's start with a single light solution. If you guys forgive me for 1 second, I'm just going to draw these two halo ring lights in here, and we'll talk about the first light first, which is our 16C. Now the 16C basically is a ring light, which is a single light solution, and I've got it rigged right now with a phone in there. That's just basically the phone holder that comes with it. Now, what's unique about this light? Well, it's the fact that it's actually a RGB, but it's also a variable color temperature. So we can actually adjust our color from whatever we need it to be. And I'm not going to turn it up too much because I don't want to kill the camera for what Manny and I are trying to do here. But I can go all the way down to like that 2700 degrees Kelvin, which is that nice warm light, all the way up to 6500 degrees Kelvin, which is a little bit more of that white light, and everything in between to kind of give you what you're looking for. But a single light like this is going to give me, that nice glow. I can actually do the Zoom call right here on the camera with a phone and be able to communicate and talk and get my message across as a single light that looks simple. And then also you're going to get that usual highlight in the eyes. That's the big thing we see a lot of times with ring lights and with any of that stuff.
Hey Barry, I love that you're showing it off axis, because most people they take ring lights and just put it, the camera right
into the camera, right? I mean, we've all kind of done that before. I know the feeling, and forgive me if I do that later when I show you some of the other models that we have. But this definitely helps us kind of see what we're getting when we're doing this stuff with a single light. So the 16C is one option that we have. Let me pop over real quick. We can get funky with some of the colors here if you want to do something kind of cool with maybe YouTube, or again, like we mentioned, those Zoom cocktail meetings at night where everybody gets together and is having a drink together over Zoom. Maybe you want to liven it up a little bit. That's something you can try to do. But this just makes it a lot more fun to kind of play with and kind of be around and be able to mount your phone. Now on the other end, I've got an option here where we can do, this is the 18. Now this is a much bigger fixture. Currently I have the makeup mirror that's in there. Now, this fixture can be used for a couple of different things. It can be used if you want to put your phone adapter in there and take the makeup mirror out, because it's basically just a 1/4-20 that screws it in to the actual center of the actual light. Or the makeup mirror actually works great for being able to do makeup, obviously, or other types of setups that you might want to try to do. Again, the phone, you know, a lot of people ask me, Barry, why a bigger 18-inch or 19-inch compared to a 16? Sometimes a larger source is going to give you that softer light. It's going to be a lot better, easier to use, and just a simple setup, either on a stand or some sort of mounting solution to be able to let you work that way.
Yes.
So again, this is a bicolor fixture, so you can actually adjust from daylight down to tungsten and give that warm color if that's what you choose to use.
What are the power solutions for those?
Yeah, and there truly are. And you get a lot of back and forth on this, Manny, with people. And it's funny, a lot of people I talk to like to use the daylight stuff because cameras are so attuned for daylight color. But a lot of people, I kind of say it's kind of old school, going to that old tungsten style that we have in our houses, especially now that we're in our houses. You get a lot more of that warm color, and they feel more natural in that color. So it's interesting to see sort of what people are comfortable with nowadays. And that kind of makes for a lot of fun when it comes to that. But now these are just two examples of what we have, Nanlite has for ring lights. We've got a 14, we've got a 16, we've got an 18, we've got a 19. There's quite a few choices for you out there when it comes to ring light solutions. And for a single source type light, which is what I'm talking about, or a single light setup. Now, the 16 that you saw right there usually runs about 199 bucks. And then the 18 that I showed you there with the mirror and the phone and comes in a nice carrying bag, you're going to look about $179. It's a usual street price for both of these type of fixtures. And again, makeup mirror on the 18 with the phone support, and then on the 16 and the 14 and strictly just the phone support, just to give you that ability to be able to do that. So now moving on to some of the other options that Nanlite has. So a lot of times people will say, hey, I just need a single source. I need maybe two lights. Okay, well, let's figure out how you're going to do that. Obviously, your laptop's set on your desk and you're in an area or a room that probably has some light from overhead, but you know what? I need to kind of light myself too. We've got a couple of solutions for that, and I'm going to show you one real quick. This is basically the Luma Pad. Now, the Lumipad gives you, hang on one second, let me turn it down some so I can show it to you guys. I'm running a battery right now. The Luma Pad gives you nice soft light, extremely soft light, because of what we call an edge lit panel. Now, an edge lit panel is something that where the LEDs themselves are actually along the edge of the light and they fire into the actual acrylic here, illuminating it, giving you soft light that kind of wraps around your face. So that's very important when you want something, and we all know we all look good in soft light. That's what we all aspire to. Obviously, that's what I have around me right now to make me at least somewhat attractive. But this just helps give you that nice soft light at a distance that you may be able to put around your computer. Now, question, what is it that we can do to be able to set this up around our computer? Yes. You've got a couple of different options. Now, I have what we call a tabletop tripod. A lot of different manufacturers make this. This one's actually, this is a nice little simple 1/4-20, the screw top is, and it screws into the bottom of this light, like so. At that point, I can set the light up on the desk next to me, right over here, and it's lighting me nice and soft. You can do that either with a single source, which is what I'm doing right now, or you can do it with two, one on each side, to kind of light yourself. And it's a simple, easy solution. It's something that we all can work with and make work for us. Again, this light right here, it's a bi-option. If you like that warmer color, like we were talking about earlier, too bright, sorry. There we go. You can actually bring it over to that warmer color and see the really warmness in the skin tones. So this makes for a really simple, easy solution. And the fixture itself usually runs around $50 or so. Now, we have another solution that can do this as well. We have a light that's basically called a Mixpad. Now, the Mixpad this is a Mixpad 11 right here. Again, it's running off of a battery solution. Now, what's unique about this fixture? The fact that this light itself can be multiple types of light. So you have a hard light, and let me turn this down so I can actually show you guys. Because again, like we talked about earlier, we don't want to kind of shine the lights into the camera too much. Yeah. So this light right here is a hard light. Now, what I can do is I can turn it up a little bit, and then I can shift it over to an RGB. And then I've got all 360 different colors that I can go through. Again, add some party to whatever it is you want to do. or I can shift to a soft light. It basically is, again, that edge lit quality and gives us that nice wrapping, easy soft light around our skin to kind of illuminate us when we're on camera. This fixture actually gives you lots of different options because it also has some built-in special effects. So if you really want to get crazy with those Zoom cocktail parties or anything that you're trying to do, if you're trying to impress your neighbors, if they're on the Zoom call, you can obviously throw the light up in the background and get a little cool and get a little funky if you want to, like you're at the club. But this does give you lots of different options to play with.
Hey, Barry,
lots of things that you can actually agree.
Barry, how can you power these items? How can you power lights?
How can you power these lights? I am actually powering my lights right now with DV batteries, and I'm going to pull these off real quick. Basically, it's any battery that you could get from PhotoCare. And this happens to be a 970 DV battery. They make 750s as well as 550s. All of Nanlite's smaller fixtures and some of their larger ones actually run off of these DV batteries, but they also have the AC power supply. So you have the choice if you want to run a battery solution and do like double duty. If this light works as your video light, but also you may use it on camera or you may use it someplace else for whatever type of light you're trying to accomplish, a battery is a good solution. But we also sell the AC power supply. So if you need to be able to plug it up, it's got the ability to plug up right there in the back. And both lights can do that. And you're pretty much good to go if you're in that seated desk type situation.
Perfect.
Cool. So
I got a good question from Kelly. She wants to know what light are you using to light yourself right now?
So what am I lighting myself with? Thanks, Kelly. I am lighting myself with actually a Forza 500 as my key. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to turn around and I'll pardon my living room, which I'm standing in. My key is a Forza 300, actually, that's over there to this side of me. In front of me, I am actually using a Pavotube 4-foot, turned to 5600. On this side, I am actually using my Luma Pad that you might see right here in the corner. That is actually using as my fill. And then right here in the back right here, I'm using a Forza 60 as my kick light. So I have quite a few lights around me right now to make me look as best as I can when I do things like this. But they kind of help soften me up and make me look a little nicer when I'm trying to be on.
It's a nice little glow.
I need a lot of help though, man. That's what it is. So I wished I was young like you are. So, but I need some help when I'm trying to do this stuff. But in mentioning that fill light that I have over there, when I was talking about the Luma Pad, the little guy, that's basically the bigger version. That is the Luma Pad 25. And that light right there actually gives you that ability to use the DV battery solution, but you can also do AC power supply. I am currently obviously running that one off the AC power supply. Mm-hmm. And the Luma Pad 25 is good because, again, it's that edge lit fixture, it's bicolor. You can do what you need to, but it's nice and soft. It's just filling in just that little side of my face right there. And then I'm getting a little of this right here from my kick light. But it just gives me that little fill that I've done. A lot of times what I've done with these lights when I'm doing some of these is I'll typically bounce the light. I might take it and bounce it against a white poster board or a piece of white foam core or even a reflector. And then soften the light some more to give myself a little softer edge or a little softer fill if I just need to bring up the ambient that's around me so that we can see things. Lastly, I'm sorry, Kelly, I have a Mixpanel 60 that's behind me that's giving me this lovely blue outline that I have going on in my background. So that's basically all the lights that I'm currently using right now. And to mention as well, like I mentioned the Mixpanel 11 earlier, we have a Mixpanel that's a 27 as well. And that Mixpanel does all those lovely features that we showed you, soft light, hard light, RGB, in a much bigger panel that would give you a multi-source type light that you'd be able to do that. As well as with the Luma Pad, you can do like a multi-source bundle if you want to do that, like 3-point lights set up so that you would do like a standard lighting setup.
Hey, I have a question from Jill Lotenberg.
Okay.
Since you have no glare in your glasses, how high is your Forza?
So my Forza right now, interesting enough, I am not actually shooting directly at myself. I didn't show you guys, or maybe you saw it. To my left here, I actually have a large picture window in the back of my house. So lucky for me, Manny timed this thing today so that the sun is directly over my house and I don't have a lot of sun coming in. So, but what I did with my Forza is I'm actually aiming at that window over there, and I'm just taking some of the off light from that to kind of light my key and kind of keep myself as soft as I can. It's also keeping the light spillage from the back of my background, because I guess you could say I'm lucky. I have a big enough living room in here that I can actually put my space and my spacing for. But that's helping with keeping some of the light off the background, giving light to myself, and then able to fill myself in. But to answer your question, I have majority of my lights at a little more of a 50-degree angle, and they're up above my head a lot more. I do have tall ceilings in my house, so a benefit for me.
Very nice. All right. Next product.
Same thing with the Pavotube, which we're about to talk about. I might as well mention that real quick. I'm using a 4-foot, like I mentioned. I didn't spin it around so you guys can see, but it is almost directly in front of me, and it's giving me a little bit of an eye light right here, as well as kind of lighting my forehead and the top of my head. So it's allowing me to be a little more rounded in my overall lighting area that I've got set up. And it's just giving me just a little bit more flatness on my face, like you would get when you're watching the news at night. You know, you get a little more flat with what that is. But to speak of the Pavotubes, we've got quite a few Pavotubes to choose from. And the Pavotubes tend to be some of our most exciting stuff. Really and truly right now, let's talk about the brand new product that we have first. That is the Pavotube 6C. That's this guy right here. And we'll crank him up real quick. This brand new Pavotube 6C was just announced by Nanlite almost a week ago. So, and it's been out on the market, just starting to get into all of our resellers of PhotoCare as well. Everybody's getting their hands on it now. So, and that's what's exciting about it, because it's so versatile. It's such a versatile fixture. The fact that you can do so much with it, it literally is about 10 inches long. It's less than a pound, so it's really lightweight. And it's got a really cool feature. One of the cool features about it is the fact that it's got magnets in the back of it. So it's internal magnets. So anything metal, this thing will stick right to, and you'll be able to light whatever it is that you are. So if you're trying to do something in a vehicle, or maybe you're lighting, you just need something on the wall or something, whatever, you can actually be able to stick this thing to pretty much anything you want. And how you can do that is, Nanlite also gives you these little metal tabs. So if you wanted to, let's just say, gaff tape them up there and stick it this to that, they go right to that, even through the gaff tape. So it really is a cool feature that you can actually stick this thing to pretty much just about anything that's metal. So, which makes it cool. Again, it's got quarter 20s in both ends of the fixture. So that makes it easy too, if you're just wanted to use, like we showed earlier, one of our tabletop tripods, or any type of quarter 20 mount that you may want to do on a stand, or maybe on a ball head or something like that. But you've got so many cool little things with that. And you can do a lot of different things with this. Now, this is a veritable color light, so it's an RGBWW. Well, what does that mean? It means that it's a RGB LED, as well as a warm white LED and a cool white LED. So it's got all that inside there, and allows you to be able to kind of control all that different stuff. So right now I'm in the veritable color, and then I can switch over and I can kind of create different color temperatures depending on what I want to do. Sorry about that. I'll bring it up so you guys can see. And that's 2,700 degrees Kelvin all the way up to 7,500 degrees Kelvin, oh, wow, which is that white light, which is a slight bit of blue that's inside of it. It also has the ability to be able to switch over. So you've got HSI, hue, saturation, intensity, and that allows you to go through all the different colors that they have and everything that's pretty much out there. It's got also the ability to be able to do special effects, quite a few special effects. And it's got really and truly, you can drill down in those special effects too. Say you want to have, for instance, you want those police lights going, but you only want them to be blue, or you want them to be a certain interval, or you maybe only want that flash to be this fast. It actually allows you to do that. So it's really and truly very intuitive, as well as very easy to use when you're setting things up.
It seems like the Swiss Army knife of lights.
It really is. It's really a cool light, especially now, Manny, with a lot of those lights being much smaller for a lot of the cameras that we're seeing. I know there's a lot of different ones on the market now, but having a smaller, easier light to kind of be able to use has been really kind of interesting to do. I mean, something as simple as, again, putting this on a tabletop and using it as two lights on your around your computer is something you can accomplish too. I mean, you get that nice shadow wherever you want to put it if you just want to set it up like that. So it really is a cool light, and it's only $99. That's what's amazing about it too.
It has a built-in battery, which is pretty cool. How long does that last?
Yeah, the battery itself will last you a little under an hour at 100%. So it's about an hour's time for what it is that you're trying to do. Now, here's one of the things you can do. It is a USB-C mount for charging port. So it actually comes with that USB-C cord. You charge it. Charging times vary depending on where you are and what you're doing, but you can also run it off those batteries that you can recharge your phone with. So you could have extra time if you want to do it that way as well. There's quite a few solutions that you can actually stretch that time out.
Does it use USB-C power delivery?
It does, actually.
Oh, how long does that take to charge?
Got that all set for that.
How long does it take to charge that?
Typically, and what I found for charging, once you run it down all the way, I've been able to recharge within about 2 hours or so.
Okay.
Now, that was here at the house. I haven't put it out into the world yet to see if I've got something, and if maybe I'm charging it in my car or I'm charging it someplace else. There are different options that obviously we have for being able to do that, as well as charging it with an external battery or a larger battery. I haven't done that yet. So it's been interesting in the little bit of shooting that I have done with this thing, being able to kind of recharge and get it going again.
Yeah, I saw that you're coming out with some accessories for it, such as like
we are actually bag. It's very, very cool. They've got quite a few things. They actually have since we're talking about batteries, they actually have an external battery that they're going to actually we're going to sell as an accessory. It screws onto the quarter 20 right here, goes in the end, and then it'll actually plug in USB-C into the back so that it will give you a longer run time. I haven't quite seen that battery yet, so I can't give you full run times on those battery solutions, but we should have those quite soon on nanliteus.com. So should be able to get that information quickly to you. Like you said, though, there's quite a few accessories that are going to be out there. We've got a waterproof bag that this thing is going to be able to put it underwater if you need to. We've got the ability to put a couple of couplers together, and you can put a couple of these together and create a longer light if you want to. A couple of ball head mounts. There's going to be an egg crate that's going to go around it as well, so you'll be able to throw the light one direction if you want to do that. There are going to be quite a few accessories for this and multiple things that you're going to be able to do with this nice, cool little light. One of the things I didn't mention, I should have mentioned before, this thing actually has a hue shift on it. So you can actually match the magenta and green with this fixture with other LED lights.
Oh, that's rare.
It really is. It's like some nice little Swiss knife to have in your lighting kit. It really is. So a lot of fun to kind of play with too. So, but that kind of starts the Pavotubes and what we were talking about. Again, this guy is just coming out. We're starting to see it in a lot of places. And like I said, 99 bucks, it's a really good deal. It really is. And it's a fun light to be able to have. Now, we've had Pavotubes, the 15C or the 2-footer, and then the 30C or the 4-footer. And I've got a 2-footer right here. Obviously, I'm using my 4-footer to make myself look good. But the 2-footer that I have right here, again, this fixture will do a lot of the cool stuff that we've seen before. You've got the ability to have that 65 all the way down. Oops, sorry, that's brightness. 65 all the way down to 2700 degrees Kelvin. And obviously, when I put that out there, it's a little bit better than holding it right up on you guys. But there's a lot of cool features about the Pavotubes that we really like about this. Different mounting solutions. We've actually come with these small wires that you could hang it like this if you needed to. Same with if you need to do a couple of different clips and mounting solutions, but I'm going to talk a little bit about mounting solutions after I talk about the light itself. The light is nice, and it's cool in the fact that it actually has the directions of the fixture printed on the back of the light. So that's pretty easy and simple to use, and you can usually be able to figure it out. Again, you've got CCT, which gives you that variable color temperature. You have HSI, like we were talking about earlier, so we can actually shift between colors depending on what colors we want to have and how cool we want to be. We've got the RGB, which is more of like a color cycle. We can roll through things, make things work for us depending on different colors at different speeds and different intervals, which is always nice. And then lastly, you have special effects. Again, a lot of the special effects would be like the police car. You've got some candle fire. You've got paparazzis and a couple of different flashers, as well as some lightning modes and things like that. But all fun things that you're kind of able to be able to play with and give you lots of different options when it comes to be able to using light like this. again, having a light that you have this light could pretty much, as a single source light everything you need in a situation like we are right now, where we're using in a Zoom call. It would give you that. The same with that 4-footer that I have in front of me. If I turned off the rest of these lights, it would give me definitely the light I'm kind of looking for to be able to, light this front part of me and make sure that you could see who it is that you're talking to. So, did you have a question? I thought we had a question.
So, is there app control?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
For the Pavotubes, is there an app
for the
control?
Pavotubes. Oh, is there app control? The app control actually does, there's a couple of different ways you can control the Pavotubes and a lot of Nanlite lights. You can actually use what we call an RC1. Now, the RC1 gives you control over the variable color temperature, as well as it allows you to address the light, as well as it also allows you to bring the light up and down in brightness from 0 to 100. You can do app control, but with our app control, you're going to need our Wi-Fi adapter as well. Basically, it looks like a small router. It has a couple of antennas on it, and you need that router to be able to address your lights and then use your app on your phone or on your device to be able to control the fixture.
Is there a readout that gives you Kelvin number if you've dialed it in?
Yes, it does actually. On the actual Pavotubes, you actually have the ability to have the readout. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but I will try to do something like that for you. Let me bring we'll do that. We'll bring the brightness down to like 8 or 10%. And then on the back of the light right here in a small little digital display, pardon me guys, is the actual Kelvin temperature. And then below that is going to be your actual brightness. So that'll give you a little bit of both.
I will say that I've used the Pavotubes before. I've installed them for customers. It's very.
I have actually. I've done quite a few different things with the Pavotubes. Anything from still photography, where we've used a couple of different things. We had a really cool thing we did in Nashville, where we had a lot of different backgrounds that were kind of textured, and we took the lights and we added some different color to that texture to kind of piece it up. It was a wonderful background for being able to, for all these photographers to come in and shoot on a walk that we did. And it turned out really, really well. We thought it was really cool, and it was really fun to kind of play with. Just recently, my daughter's graduating from high school, and we used these in some of her senior pictures for just adding some strips of color in an area that had a lot of wrought iron and things like that. So some cool stuff on the photography side, but on the video side, I've done quite a few things. Actually helped at Main Media Workshops before. These guys use these, one of the coolest things, they were shooting somebody, a man and a woman in a photo booth, and they actually used the tube, put it in front of them, and used the flash feature to simulate the flash, shooting that on an area like that.
Pretty creative.
Yeah, that was fun. It was kind of cool, and it was interesting to see them kind of create something kind of out of nothing, when they were shooting this. So there's been quite a few times I've been able to be around with the Pavotubes and see how people get inspired or creative with them, depending on what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Lori is asking, how do you mount to a tripod?
Good question. So the Pavotubes themselves actually come with these small little clips right here. And let me show you guys how they work real fast. So I've got it the 2-footer. It actually, the clear part goes over the front of the light, and then it actually snaps on. And then on the back, you have 1/4-20 receivers, okay? So you've got a couple of different options for a tripod. If you wanted to put this on, say, this right here, I can screw this in. This is my tabletop tripod, and be able to use it. And again, I can take the tabletop tripod and I can turn it any direction that I like, depending on how you're using it, and make it work for whatever it is that I need to do. Now, Nanlite does actually have quite a few different mounting accessories. This is just one that comes for free. There's actually a single tube holder that you can put on a stand. There's actually a couple of different clamps that you can do. I've had people actually create their own stuff, including myself. I actually used a Cupo pinch clamp and a monitor arm and one of these guys right here on a 2-footer, and I've hung it from door frames and other things when I needed to light somebody walking through. There's quite a few options that you can come up with. We've actually used Combi Clamps, which are, everybody knows this guy right here, and this is just on a regular mount. The tube is pretty heavy duty, so it can take the standing of being able to take that and just clamp it down.
Yeah, just don't put too much pressure on it.
Yeah, obviously you're not going to want kill it or Frankenstein it, but obviously it'll take inside the jaws, it'll sit, and then you can actually use the light wherever you might want to. So there really and truly are a lot of mounting options and clamping options when it comes to the Pavotubes, or just any type of small little tube that you want to kind of create.
So Paul brings up a good point in the chat that the 6C does not include the clips because it has quarter 20s threads already built into it.
That is correct. That is correct. Does not include the little clips.
Matthew is in the Q&A is asking, using it for still photography, what kind of exposure can you get, say, using an ISO 1600? F-stop and shutter speed would be, what do you think?
Well, for some of that with the small, with the 6C, and what I've seen at a 1600 shutter speed, I haven't played with it myself, so I don't want to talk too far out here. Yeah. But I would say you probably could do, I don't know, 1/60th, 1/30th, somewhere in there, yeah. As well as maybe going down some to be able to see what it is that you're trying to capture, and how you're using it. That'd be the other thing. Granted,
is there a power range difference between the 6, the 15, and the 30?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say that again, Manny.
Is there a power difference between the 6, the 15, and the 30?
Oh yes, definitely. Obviously, you've got a size difference. That's one of your big things that there is. But and then on the 4-footer, you've got obviously a much longer. So that many more LEDs is going to give you that much more brightness, obviously. And then giving you that more brightness is going to allow you to adjust your ISO as well as your shutter speed going up or down for whatever your needs might be, depending on what you're lighting and what you're doing. I have seen this little guy, I haven't done it yet myself, this little guy used for color painting, using the RGBs and the HSI, and then able to do some different nice long exposure stuff and just really kind of making it look slick. I've seen some really cool stuff, and some stuff I'm still trying to figure out how they did it. So that's I guess the fun part of some of this is, hey, how did you do it? Tell me.
All right, I think that's a good on the Pavotubes.
Okay, cool. So again, we were talking about, again, with the Pavotubes, the 6C is about $99 street price. The Pavotube 2-footers usually run about $279, and then the Pavotube 4-footers usually run about $399. So, and then again, you've got all those fun things that you can kind of create with the Pavotubes. So I got to put that down to make it really, really interesting and fun when you're playing with it. So now, this is the part where we were going to talk a little bit about some of the pro lighting solutions and some of the other things that Nanlite offers for a lot of that stuff. But I wanted to make sure, was there anything else that we were talking about as far as question-wise that anybody out there might have had with some of our home lighting solutions? Anything?
What would you recommend for your best lighting for improving your home conferencing setup?
Home conferencing setup, I probably would recommend maybe a mixture of stuff. Like I said, I do love these little Lumipads. They're really simple and easy to use with any type of tabletop tripod that's on the market, preferably Binro, but there are quite a few that you can do. Just because they're easy to set up. You're right on either side of your computer, a nice little bit of soft light, and you're looking very nice to get started and get going. Again, the Pavotube 6C, truly a good one that you can use for that as well. It gives you the ability to be able to, if you needed, stick it right above your computer right here. You've got a nice kind of flat light, but everybody can see you. They can see what it is that you're saying and what you're talking about. Yeah, and it's soft. Yeah. Again, we all love soft light, right?
And if you can have too many tripods holding 2 6Cs left and right from you, it's like a stereo light.
Yeah, exactly. It would definitely give you that ability to have a little bit of both of everything that you would need to look good for any type of call that you might be doing for your home studio. So
Jill's asking, do you have any packages in place for home conferencing?
For home conferencing, actually, we have a new bundle that might work for her. What I was talking about is my fill light over here with the Lumipads. We actually have 3 pads right there for easy price of the new bundle on the Lumipads is $289. And that's going to give you 3 fixtures that you can use pretty much however you need to. And that might be something that's a nice solution. It could give you a key, a fill, and even a backlight if you wanted to get really fancy in some of your other stuff. But, you know, even 1 or 2 of those is going to give you everything that you need for quite a affordable price right now.
All right. Can you turn the 6C in front of you so you can demo it to see how it looks?
I sure can. So let me turn it back on for you guys real fast. So it takes a second because the little Nanlite kicks up on the back on the thing. There we go. I've got it turned down right now, guys, because I didn't want to blind you with that, but I can bring it up some if you guys want to see some of the brightness switch. There we go. So if I wanted to be a little brighter, I kind of like it more when I'm doing it like this because I can actually add a little bit more. Now, granted, I am in some nice soft light all around me right now. So, but to be fair, so you guys can see sort of the difference in the light itself and how it affects my face. It gives you a little bit when you're kind of off to the side, either the right or left, depending on which side looks better for some folks. Some people say it's my right side. I don't know, but yeah, that should give you a better idea of how the 6C performs when you get it.
Matthew has a great question for PhotoCare. He said, will PhotoCare have any of these lights on display in the store that he could take a closer look at when we reopen, of course, and in the rental department? So Matthew, yes, we have all of these Nanlite products on our display floor once we reopen. And we do carry panels and Pavotubes in our rental department.
Yes, they do. So moving on to the Pro Lighting Solutions, we'll go ahead and jump on over into those, Manny. So I'm going to start up with the Mixpanels. The Mixpanels are what I like to call for Nanlite sort of their flagship light. And the reason we have a flagship light, let me come in real quick. So let me step out real fast and then I'll step over. There we go. Okay. So like I said, I'm actually using a Mixpanel right now for this blue light that you're seeing here in the background, because the Mixpanels give us so many options to be able to work with. They are a very, very cool light because of the fact that for an LED, they do a hard light, they do a soft light, and they do an RGB. But then they also do special effects, color gels, presets, all these different things that you can kind of come up with. And it makes for a really amazing light is what it does. And let me turn it on for you real quick. There we go. And it just gives you so much ability to be able to create with for light. And I apologize, this is probably pretty bright right here. So we're going to bring it down to about 5–6%. There we go. And right now, obviously, I'm using this light more as a sort of a fill because our soft light is actually on, and I'll let you guys kind of look at what it is. Our soft light is edge lit as well, but I will switch over real quick to the hard light, and that's light that's hitting me directly, so it's a little more specular highlights, also a little harsher shadow, giving me a lot more punch and oomph to that light. So depending on what your needs are, this light can really kind of give it to you. The light itself is aluminum frame with a carbon fiber cover, so it's pretty heavy duty. It does have a fan system on it, but it does something that's very interesting, and we'll start with that. So the light itself can be used one of three ways. The fans themselves can actually be turned on or off depending on what your needs are. Now, let's say, for instance, hey, these fans are too loud. I'm in an audio critical situation, and I need to be able to hear, but I need to light them. So what I can do is actually go into the menu setting, go down, and I can go to silent mode and turn them off, okay? Now, what I've done with the actual fixture, though, is I've actually taken the brightness and I moved it down to 50%. So I will go back over here, I will turn this up to 50, and then I will turn it on myself, and you can see it's still quite bright for what it is, and that's the soft side. I didn't turn on the hard side because I didn't want to blind us, but I mean, you've got quite a lot of output on this fixture, even when you're in that silent mode and need to be able to see and have that critical audio going. So that's one of the cool things about it. Now, so silent mode gives you 50%, normal mode will give you about 75% output, and then the boost mode or the fans mode will give you that full 100%. And obviously you can use that situation if you're outside someplace or you need something else going on. Much harder light to be able to kind of work with and shape.
If you're on location, what kind of battery solution do you need for it? So
battery solutions, that's a good question, Manny. Right now, this fixture actually takes the new 26-volt battery solution, which is a 450 to 480 watt-hour type battery. Now, the 26 obviously is a little bit bigger. It's a little thicker, but it does look like the 14.8s that are currently out there on the market. Typically, from some of the manufacturers that I've seen, the 26 tends to have a different color to it. But that battery solution put onto this light at 100% will give you roughly not quite 2 hours of time and runtime on that. So you're going to look at being able to use this light in any type of situation you can think of. You're in the middle of the woods someplace, or you're in a studio or a stage and you've got to be able to stick it someplace that you can't get a plug to. Obviously, a battery solution will work very well for that. Now, on the 60, which is the little one I've got down below me here, that's running off a 14.8 battery solution. So your standard camera batteries, all that other stuff, it's going to fit on that one just fine. They're both V mounts. So just so you know going into it. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the light itself has quite a few features. You've got the HSI, so you've got all these 360 different colors, saturations, dimming downs. You've got RGB. You've got the ability to be able to create your own color, should you want to do that, as well as add white or take away white from it for adding saturation or taking saturation away. You've also got the ability to add gels. So let's say, for instance, I have a light here and I want it to be at 5600 Kelvin, and I want to add maybe some lavender or something like that. I can actually scroll through, find the lavender color, which is more of a purple. There we go. And actually cover my 5600 Kelvin light in a lavender gel without adding an actual gel. It just gives you a lot of those different things. So you've got lavenders, pinks, yellows, greens, and then you have full CTBs all the way from an eighth all the way up to a double on CTB and CTO. So it gives you a lot of different, again, lots of different choices when it comes to that. Now,
since
on the effects side,
go ahead. Gels, Barry, what color system are you using? What are you processing?
So basically, our gels are based off of the Roscoe color scheme that's out there on the market. So you're able to do those, you're going to expect those type of transmissions when you add a gel to that specific either 56 or 32 on these fixtures. Okay. On the actual effects that we were talking about, you've got the ability to, again, go down into the minutia of stuff. Right now I've got a hue loop up, but I do have the ability to scroll down and change my hue going one way or the other way around the 360. I can change the color. I can change the saturation. I can change the speed. I can change it to go one way or just one way around or two ways around. Kind of confusing. And then I can also add a flash or a pulse to it if I need to do that. These are the type of things that you can kind of create with this light. Just it gives you so many abilities to kind of create with. And that's what's cool about it, because when you do create something, you can actually go to the presets, holding that down, and you can save what you created. You can save up to 80 of those, and you can go back to that if it's something you would like to be able to see again. So, which makes for, I guess, easy use when you've got multiple lights like this and you're trying to set something up maybe in a studio or a stage, and you say, hey, I want to add this specific flash, and I've got a couple of these. Oh, I've got the perfect idea for that. Here, let's use my flash system that I used up on another shoot before. So
Barry, can you interconnect multiple lights? Is there a DMX?
You can. Now, again, this light is standard with 512 DMX, so that is a way to control it. You can also control it with our app and our Wi-Fi router. That is a way to control it. And then you can also control the light with the RC1. Now, with the RC1, you're just controlling the CCT or the variable color temperature. You're not controlling the RGB.
So Matthew has a really good question. Are the barn doors fixed permanently to the light or removable, or is it an additional?
No, sir. They are actually removable. Hang on one second. Let me go back over here and let's turn this down, and then I will pull them off for you guys. There you go. It's got a little clip right here, if you guys can see it, that actually allows you to hang on to them, or you can take them off and you just have basically the light.
Since they're removable, I mean, is there's any modifiers for it?
There are actually. There are, each of these fixtures has a separate softbox that it sells separate as an accessory to, and that actually allows you to be able to fit over the barn doors and the light fixture itself and be able to soften the light even more.
Because that light goes hard and soft. Yes,
sir. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to be on the soft side or the edgelit side. You're already at a soft light, but adding that nice softbox really softens that light out a lot. It really does. It makes it look really, really good.
Perfect.
So again, the mix panels, sort of everything that you can need in one shot. Like I was saying earlier, going through the different pieces that we have back there, we've got the ability, hang on one second, I'll just pop these back on real fast at the top. We've got the ability to kind of go through all the different ways that you can make stuff use on the menus, as well as in the menu itself. You can rotate the screen, you can do all the brightness, and that's where you're going to be able to address with the DMX that we were talking about, as well as the channels that you might need for either using the app or using the RC1. So it gives you a lot of control when you want to be able to use the lights, and there's some place that you can't quite get to.
Perfect.
So, but the mixed panel, again, is one of my favorite lights. It really is, because it's just so versatile. And I've used it quite a few times on quite a number of shoots, as well as using it for this thing right here. I mean, it just works perfectly whenever it is that I'm trying to kind of mess around with. And the nice thing about it is it's not a super expensive light for something that does this type level of being able to have effects and colors and all these different variable color temperatures. You're looking at a light like this about $10.99, and then the small one down below me is about $7.99. So really and truly, you get a lot for the price. You really do. So
so you have a good question from Matthew. He says the lights seem amazing, but I need to see the build quality in person, which, you know, that's
sure, obviously.
It needs to stand up to a lot of travel and getting banged up without breaking. How durable are these lights?
Well, and that's the nice thing. The mix panels themselves, and with all of Nanlite's products, a lot of the stuff you see on the outer side is carbon fiber. Now, that doesn't mean the entire light is carbon fiber. The light itself typically is made of aluminum, and it does take a beating. I'll be honest, most of the lights you see here have been in my possession for the past year as my demos, and I beat them up a lot because I'm usually out there on the road showing them to people like yourselves. So they really do take a beating pretty well, is I guess a way to say it. They're good at, you know, getting them in the cases, taking them out of cases, whether it's a Pelican case or a Timba case, or, you know, any type of case that you might be dragging them around in on an airplane or in a car. They really do well. Nanlite does a really good job of giving you cases for all of your fixtures. They have some very easy soft cases that really cover the light. They're nice soft cases. They're pretty heavy duty as well. I haven't had any issues with any case. Even, you know, most people have issues on soft cases with the zipper. That's been the great thing that we've actually talked about. The zipper doesn't actually mess up on a lot of the Nanlite cases. So they're a good quality case for what you're getting. That's what I like about it when you're going to get a good fixture like this.
Awesome. So a lot of our customers are stills photographers who are just getting into motion and would like dual purpose light.
Right.
For me, my personal favorite is the Forza series.
Yes. Forza are always fun. I love Forza as well. Again, I'm using the 300 right now just to light me for my key light. And then I'm using the 60 as my kick light for the other side. So you see, I mean, even this stuff, I get excited with the Forzas a lot of times because they just give me so much versatility when you're playing with them, you know, especially with the accessories that we have for them. We'll start off, I guess let's just start with the Forza 60 because that's probably the small one. It's truly one of the most popular lights that Nanlite has. I see a lot of them out on the market now. People love the compact size of it, but the output is just so much. They're always blown away when I show them. And that's really cool about it. And for something that weighs a little over, you know, almost 2 pounds, it's amazing to me that you're going to get that much power out of that nice little light like that. You know, again, it's a metal construction with the carbon fiber around it, and it has a fan in it, but it's really, really quiet. That's what I like about it. With a single-sided yoke that actually allows you to be able to put it on a stand or any type of mount and be able to put it where you need to. Now, again, it's going to come with what I call the reflector, and I'm going to show you the reflector that's on my 500 here for that. Basically, the reflector fits over the 60, but just in a smaller cone, and then gives you a little bit more output when you're looking for your overall lumens and illumination. You've got our digital display, and then all of the Forza lights themselves have on their displays actual lighting effects. You've got some bad bulb in there, you've got some flickers, you've got some flashes, you've got some storm. all those lovely little effects that you can create with just a 5600 Kelvin LED. So it really is kind of cool what you can accomplish with these Forza lights. But the 60 is truly one of my favorites. You've got the ability to be able to run it off a battery if you need to. We actually have a small little handheld battery solution that the light itself will sit on top of, plug it in, and then you can run it off of batteries. These are 970s, and I got a little over 2 hours out of that the last time I used it, which is really cool. As well as one of the newest options that we have for the Forza 60 is the Bowens Mount for being able to use larger Bowens softboxes. So one of the things when we started with the Forza 60 is that it has a smaller, what we used to call, some people used to call it a Calumet
a mini S mount.
Yeah, mini S mount. Thank you, Manny. That's I've heard it called actually a couple different things, but it's interesting to see the different little mounts that you have out there. But everybody always asked, when will Nanlite come out with a Bowens mount so I can put my standard soft boxes on there with the Bowens? They've done it right here. Came out probably about a month and a half ago, and you're actually able to do your standard Bowens. The light itself attaches on the back right here to this little mount. And then you can actually put this onto a stand. So the light is kind of hanging out right here, but all the weight of the softbox, depending on size, is sitting on the mount. Now they built it pretty heavy duty so that it can do that. So it does look a little strange to me sometimes because the light is just hanging. It's like a cantilever and it's just hanging out over the edge, but it's perfectly safe. It's exactly how they wanted it. And it actually has, what you see here is you're actually able to start using umbrellas with this as well. So for a lot of my photographers out there, they have umbrellas already. It's like, hey, I can stick my umbrella in, shine my light, and I'm already going. So, which is very good. I mean, it's just very helpful to be able to do that. But to use any type of Bowens softbox that you may already have is very helpful, especially on a nice bright light that little guy is.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is. Really cool. So moving on to the bigger brothers in the Forza line. The other accessories that I didn't mention with the Forza, you've got basically a Fresnel mount, which is the FL11. That has barn doors on it, and it goes from a 45-degree spot down to a 10-degree spot. And I'm actually using that Fresnel right now to kind of hit me right here. That's giving me my nice little kick light.
What I love about the Forzas, because they use that S mount, they're very adaptable. So if you already have modifiers from other brands, such as Elechrome, you just need a Bowens, the Elechrome adapter, plug it right in, and you're all set.
You're good to go. Elechrome, Photix, all those different brands that are out there on the market that have that Bowens mount, they go right in, and you're good to go. That's the nice thing of being sort of a universal adapt that the Bowens is. And it makes it really simple. Now, Nanlite has some really nice soft boxes as well. I will attest to that. Again, I'm using one currently for lighting against my key light, but there are quite a few different accessories out there for the Forza line. So to jump right into the 300 and the 500, I would show you guys the 300, but again, I'm using it. It's keying me right now. So I'm going to talk to the big brother right here, which is the 500. Now, in size-wise, the 300 and the 500 are about the same size when you see them. They are truly an interesting full yoke light with the ability, the big square. Again, we see that carbon fiber, but it is a metal frame. Has a proprietary attachment cable on the back that goes down. And what's below me right now, and I can't grab, is the actual sled, what we call it, which is our control unit. And the control unit itself allows you to bring up the brightness. It also allows you to control the effects that I was talking about earlier. So you can be able to do whatever it is you need to. Now, with these lights, they can be controlled by those 26-volt batteries we spoke about with the 150 earlier. So you'll need 2 of those batteries to be able to run the Forza 500. On the Forza 300, you'll need 2 batteries at 14.8 volts to run the Forza 300. So you don't need the 26 volts on the 300, just on the 500. Those are good to do.
Matthew's asking, how long is the cable from the light to the satellite unit?
Good question, Matthew. Right now, the cable that comes in the actual 300 and 500 typically tends to be about 6 feet or so, maybe a little bit bigger because we usually measure in meters. We have a cable that we sell that's a replacement for the 6 one that is 15 feet. That allows you to be able to put that light high in the air and have the control unit either on the floor or a little farther away from you if you need to.
Yeah, I can definitely
So,
attest to how powerful the 500 is. When we
um,
here, we have our event space, which we're
yes.
hoping to reopen soon. We actually just we kick the Forza 500 into the ceiling, let it bounce, and it lights up the entire room.
The whole room gets lit up, doesn't it?
Yeah, love it.
I know, it's amazing. I mean, this thing really and truly, man, it's like working with the old HMIs back in the day. To me, it's an HMI. It's at least a 2.4K HMI or something bigger than that, but in a LED situation. And this guy's got the ability to be able to have a Fresnel on the front of it, as well as, or any of these soft boxes that we were talking about with Bowens Mount. Obviously, with the 500, because it is so powerful, I'd watch it because it does put out some heat. I have, in my time using this thing, put my hand in front of it when it was on, and I could feel it. I could actually feel the heat coming off of with the light and the LED. It's amazing. It really is.
We have some good questions in cable length.
Okay.
Can you daisy chain cables together to make the
No, sir, you can't do that because of the way the cables are made and the connectors that they need to have for these Nanlite things. You can't daisy chain them together.
Perfect. Just want to remind everyone that the entire Forza line, the 60, the 300, and the 500 are currently on promotion. They're all 25% off.
Yes.
You can order from us, and then we'll get it drop shipped for free.
Yes, exactly. I mean, all the way up to June 1st. That's what's cool. I mean, that little bitty Forza 60 up there, usually $289, is like $216.75 right now. So it's very affordable right now. Really cool to have. Multiples of them, especially if you want to do like a little 3-point kit. Yeah. Those I love. I love doing little 3-point shoots with those little Forza 60s. It's so much fun. But the 500, again, like we were talking about, just a really powerhouse of a light. I mean, just a beast when it comes to being able to light, like you said, an entire event space, an entire room, or lighting up a big chunk of a studio if you want to do something like that. And the 300, again, perfect for doing those interviews, any type of situation that you might need if you want to be outside and sort of get rid of some of the shadows, maybe under a tree or something. 300 will do that very easily. I've seen it and done it myself, as well as the different modifiers that we have, the soft boxes that are 59-inch, the 49-inch, the 90, which is a 29-inch, as well as some of the umbrellas and some of the other things, the Fresnel that I mentioned. All those things are available for this Forza line and give you the ability to create or modify the light however you see fit. And is really, really cool to be able to kind of create with these things. It really is, especially using like this 500 or 300 and you're using that 59-inch soft box, Manny. Holy cow. You talk about soft light everywhere. It is really cool for a large soft source. It really is.
It's kind of like cheating, creating soft light
it is.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah, it makes your life so much simpler when you're starting, you know, and then you start adding whatever you need as far as other light or some bounce or some reflector. It really is cool.
All right. That was great, Barry. You're awesome.
So the only light I was going to talk about, that's my last light, is my compact series. The compact series, and I will spin it around here so you guys can see the last one. Okay. This basically is what we call the compact. Comes in 6 different sizes. This actually happens to be our compact 68. And I will turn it up some, so I will turn it up on myself and you guys can see it. There we go. There we go. Okay. So what the compact is basically a soft light that throws. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, well, what does that mean, Barry? Well, it gives you the soft light because it's a half-stop diffuser that's in front of these LEDs, but that light that's behind it is so bright, it's throwing soft light on a size like this, at least up to 5 feet away. And it just has this soft light that falls on your subject and kind of falls off very gently and easily. It's become a very popular light for us. Our folks at 60 Minutes have actually bought quite a few of the 200s, which are the much bigger ones that we have. And they're those, as well as the Pavotubes, to do a lot of their interviews. So it makes it really easy for them when they're doing some of their one-on-one setups as opposed to doing a big multi-setup.
I've sold a few of those to headshot photographers.
Oh, yeah. I've sold quite a few of these down here in Texas. I get a lot of photographers that like the compacts because of the fact that they're easy to set up and go, and then they're shooting right away. The same with my guys that are doing video that I talk to here locally. I've got a couple of guys that actually picked this up for corporate shoot stuff, kind of before all the craziness started happening, and they absolutely love compacts because they set a couple of lights up, they put a backlight up, and they're shooting their interview right away for some of these hospitals that I've worked with before. So really and truly a very simple light to use and relatively inexpensive. The 200 and the 100 are really in that pro line because the 200B, which is a bicolor, they come in a bicolor and a daylight. They have sort of a plastic construction, and they're rugged though, so that they can take a beating when you're moving them around. They're easy and light to put on a stand. The controls, 2 controls on the back, you're able to actually adjust between 32 and 5600 Kelvin. And then they've got a 5/8 receiver mount in the bottom. The only thing is they're AC only though, Manny. They don't do a battery solution for the compacts currently. So, but again, the 200, you're looking like $550. The 100, 200. This is a 68 that I have right here. That's a bicolor. It runs about $269. So fantastic. They're affordable all the way down the line to the 20s, which are more of tabletop type lights. So they really are cool. They're an interesting light. Let me pan this off of me real fast so you guys can see me again. And it just gives you a lot of different options when you're trying to work with light, or like you had said, putting a couple lights up and we're kind of moving quickly to kind of get our shots started and getting things going.
Cool. All right, so Jill's asking for a still photographer who shoots portraits, moving into video, interviews, portraits. Which system would you start with?
So, I get that question a lot, as I know a lot of photographers, still guys and women, that are moving into the video world to be able to create and add something to their toolbox. The compacts are a good light for that, really and truly. The 68s, the 40s, they're small, they're easy and lightweight enough to be able to move around and then get set however you want. Also, the Lumipads that we talked about earlier, the bigger ones, the 25s, those make a really good 3-point setup if you want to do that, or the mixed pads. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more, because you might use the light for interviews, but you might use it for something else, you might think about the Forza. The Forza 300 or the Forza 60 will give you a little bit of everything, sort of a Swiss Army knife for your interviews or whatever it is that you're shooting.
That was great. I think that's all the questions that we've had for today. I think we're ready to wrap it up.
All right. Well, if people have questions or stuff like Manny, you can always check us out at nanliteus.com, obviously. And then coming to talk to you guys over at PhotoCare, because I will say this, folks, PhotoCare will take care of you for whatever it is that you need. And they got the answers for you when it comes to our lights, as well as every other type of camera that I've ever dealt with. So when I'm up there, usually in New York, I always try to go out and see Manny if I can. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, so just to give everyone a heads up, next week we have a great on-location workflow seminar with Rich Myers featuring tether tools. That's Tuesday, April 26th. Well, Tuesday, May 26th. It'll be on our PhotoCare events page. Please sign up. Spots are going quickly. If you have any sales questions, sales@photocare.com, and any support questions, support@photocare.com. We'll all, come back and we'll respond in a timely manner. And of course, we appreciate all of you coming. Thank you. Have a great day. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Paul.